you're doing great. Just for clicking on the video. So you join me in Edinburgh, searching for forgotten history. This is the vaults of the National Museum of Scotland. So we're going to head over to a place called Newington Cemetery. How's it coming? Come on! Let's go and take a look. Opened in 1846. You can see what it used to look like. Now, I've just done a little bit of research on the cemetery, and I imagine there are many untold stories here, tragic as well as triumphant. But this is a recent one that caught my attention. It's called Edinburgh's Dark October, Newington Cemetery's Ghost. A woman's eerie experience in a neglected Edinburgh cemetery unveils a haunting connection to a historic tragedy. It's the tragedy of the Eyemouth fishing disaster that happened in 1881. I did a video in Eyemouth and at St Abbs. I'll leave a link above that you can check out. As the darker nights return and the cold chill fills the air, it is time to recall a suitably autumn tale. As the approaching thrill of Halloween, the season of the dead, occupies shop windows across the country, a specific story always springs to mind. This story was relayed to me by a woman some time ago, the witnesses of a resident in the leafy confines of Newington area of Edinburgh, where we are now. She walks the route to a nearby Newington Cemetery each morning with her dog before work. The October mornings provide a dark and ominous atmosphere within the confines of this location. Vaulted archways accommodating extensive tombs traverse the cemetery walls. Many of the graves now sadly are neglected. They form the landscape of this overgrown and now desolate graveyard. Its pathways are now fully reclaimed by nature. It was the morning leading to Halloween when she met with a frightening encounter in the old section of the graveyard. Her dog paused at the foot of a large imposing gravestone. Although over 100 years old, the stone featured a reflective granite surface. The names of those integrated gleamed in the formidable morning light. The witness was suddenly startled when she became aware of what she thought was her dog reflected in the glaze of the stone. She was startled and realised that a small dog ran within the confines of the opposite area of the cemetery. What stood behind her walked upright, crooked, and in the opposite direction. With the fright of what she saw that morning, the woman hurriedly departed and did not return Newington for several days. She returned with her husband on the 30th of October, the day before Halloween. After explaining the frightening story to him, they set out to prove a logical explanation. He moved from side to side, viable in the reflection of the gravestone. He stood directly at the foot of the ancient and overgrown grave. The woman stated that in the many years of visiting this cemetery, she had never seen this grave. She tended several of the stones, placing flowers on the resting place of the many Newington residents, but this was the first time this overgrown plot had commanded her attention. Her husband cleared the foliage from the flattened tomb. The inscription upon the grave reads as follows: Janet Atkinson, who died in October 1943, beloved wife. Above the inscription, in barely legible writing, displayed the name of her also interned husband, William Atkinson. Rest in peace. May the waves carry you towards our Lord. 1881. The revelation of this name sent a shiver down the woman's spine. Suddenly, it made sense to her. She felt dizzy and scared. A feeling of nausea retched through her stomach, and her arms became heavy as the blood rushed from her limbs. William Atchinson was the name of a relative, her great-uncle, an uncle from an extensive line of fishermen who had perished in the Eyemouth fishing disaster on the 14th of October 1881, the worst fishing disaster of its kind on Scotland's shores. Just reading this story to you, I was aware that there was somebody over there, and I thought they were listening to me, but on further inspection, there's nobody there. It's just an overwhelming feeling that I was being listened to. Lieutenant Alexander Atkin Ross. Peter Smart. The place is littered with gravestones. Cross made out of a tree, so adept. There's a beautiful tree growing right next to it. 1900, it's gorgeous. British sailors and soldiers buried in the cemetery. A lot of these Victorian cemeteries, they've got keepers' lodges, gatekeepers' lodges, lookout shelters where the graveyard would be protected from grave robbers at night. Bodies were worth quite a lot of money for research and teeth. makes you quite emotional walking around here. All of the people at rest, but especially the war graves, because you knew how terribly they died. They called it the Great War, but it was anything but great. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you're ever visiting Edinburgh, I definitely recommend that you come and spend a bit of time here. It's so beautiful. Cheers guys, catch you on the next one. Ta-ra.